16.3 Coaching Session Review and Development Plan by Ruben Simmons for BASVIC Sports and Exercise Science.
Aims, objectives and targets. I believe I achieved my target to perform a successful and helpful demonstration. I did this by using key words in my demonstration and showing off the key technique. I think it proved to be successful and helpful, as nearly all players then managed to perform a forehand correctly. I believe that I achieved my target to conduct 2 enjoyable activities of variation, as both of my activities were very different and progressed differently, having different aspects to each one that changed throughout the session. I believed it was enjoyable, as most players gave positive feedback on the activities in their review after the session had ended. I do not believe I achieved my target to keep control of a well-conditioned game. Although the game was decently conditioned and I did use my tactic of informing the players of the rules and did my best to diffuse any misbehaviour, people still tended to mess about, particularly during the game situations, of which I could not control. I believe that I achieved my objective of correctly coaching/conveying the key points of a forehand hit in mini tennis, as I correctly lived up to the majority of my targets. I also believe I achieved my overall aim, which was coach a forehand in mini tennis, as I believed I achieved my objectives and the majority of my targets.
Session SWOT analysis. Strengths. As far as strengths and planning goes, I think I had well constructed activities with good variation of competition. I think my activities were planned carefully. I think they varied a lot from each other. They allowed abilities and different skill sets, and they also mixed up the grouping, so people worked with people they didn't know so well and taught someone they talked to that much before. As far as my delivery, I gave some strong, loud instructions, and I think I was very good, especially in the beginning of my one-on-one critiquing, where I'm going up to people to individually assess how they're doing and give them some help and advice on what I think they need to improve. For weaknesses in my planning, I think my plan of a warm-up and a cool-down could have had some more differentiation. I feel like I had the same sort of stretches and sort of running, jogging activities in my warm-up that I had in the cool-down, which should have variated a bit. As far as the enjoyability of the activities, what I actually ended up doing in my session was different from what I planned, but as far as my game goes, I think that was enjoyable, but particularly the starting activity with them practicing the forehand by themselves against the wall, I think I could have changed that a bit, as one of my weaknesses is delivery, which is a certain control. I think some people got a bit distracted because they got a bit bored passing against the wall, so I think I let it go on for too long. As far as organising the cool down and delivery, I actually forgot to do the cool down in my session, which was a major mistake on my part, which I can't afford to do again in the future if I plan on doing another coaching session, particularly in mini tennis. But opportunities to improve, I feel like planning and delivery sort of mix into each other here. I need to get a degree in coaching or some level in coaching if I wish to do this again, particularly for an actual club, as it would be illegal if I didn't. For kids, I would need a lower level of coaching, which would require less experience than if I wanted to do adults, and this would take time, but it wouldn't be that hard to organise. Advice from coaches is something very easy that I can do. As a sports athlete myself, I have an access to a variety of coaches that are all very well knowledged in all different sports. Some of them I'm sure could give me some good advice about tennis and mini tennis, which would help me improve my planning and my delivery in my sessions. Threats that may be stopping me improving as a coach is due to my training schedule and my coursework for college and studying for my exams. I do have a lack of time time is something I do not have a lot of. My sleeping schedule severely suffers because of this, so it will be hard to fit in to get the relevant coaching qualifications and levels I need to do to coach for an actual club. My work ethic outside of basketball could use some improvement. I struggle to stay committed to things. Basketball's the only thing I've ever committed to properly, so I think I'd have a hard time committing to coaching and getting that coaching level / degree. For my delivery, I think, especially in this mini tennis, if it was basketball, it would be a different story, but for mini tennis, I would have a lack of interest or enthusiasm. This being both because of lack of knowledge of the sport and the fact I don't really enjoy tennis, so I wouldn't be that enthusiastic about teaching tennis or mini tennis. 3 of my biggest strengths as a coach. First one being volume. I'm a very loud person. I have no problem projecting my voice across the gym and talking over people, especially those who aren't listening. I can use my voice to engage people, get people to pay attention, and to make my points clear. I think, very nice, good, and creative ideas. I thought the ideas in my plan weren't good enough, so I changed them within a brief period to ones that I think were much, much better and improved. And I think my ideas, especially improved my coaching session, are complex as they had variation and different and varying levels of difficulty, while also including some mixing up and matching of people's partners and who they're playing with. I also think, as my third and final strength, I'm very good at conveying my coaching points, using both my volume and the way I speak. I think I speak in a very clear tone of voice, that I'm easy to understand, and I think I use simple English language, not too difficult words, to help get my point across and make it more understandable for the majority of people. I also, of course, convey my coaching points via demonstrations, which I think I proved in my coaching session I can execute quite well using different techniques after having also practiced the forehand and mini tennis myself, so that I know what I'm talking about and I can give some level of experience knowledge to the people I'm teaching. First area for improvement and my development plan. Inexperience in terms of coaching. This is my first time coaching anything ever, as far as I can remember, particularly a sport, and I think I handled it pretty well. I think my session went pretty good. I don't think I'm that bad at coaching. I think perhaps if I wanted to commit to it and do it for more, I could be better, but I think my inexperience does show a lot, especially with maybe what I'm saying, as I'm not too certain about what I am coaching or how to coach it. I think because I am very young, my age is a massive factor. I haven't had a lot of time to experience different sports, so I think as my age increases, that will help me develop. Getting more comfortable with different sports, getting more comfortable talking to huge groups of people and things like that. Currently, I don't have any sort of coaching degree, not in basketball, which is a sport I play, or definitely not in mini tennis, which is a sport I coached. In the future, if I wish to coach more sessions on mini tennis, then I would have to get some sort of level of coaching qualification to do it at not professional level, but at like a local club level or professional level if I wanted to pursue that. My lack of being an actual coach, which I am not, comes with obvious drawbacks, as I do not have the experience. I do not have the knowledge that someone who's been coaching for years would have I do not know how to properly coach. It's not easy. It's something that takes time to develop, and you need to understand the people you're working with. If you coach the same people over and over again, rather than switching, it will become easier because you'll get more identified with the players and their play style and how it is best to coach them, and you'll know what areas they need coaching on. So I think if I stuck with a group for a while, my coaching would improve because I would be able to give them better and more valuable knowledge and information. My second area of improvement and my development plan. Area to improve: lack of knowledge of mini tennis. My first time playing mini tennis, regrettably, was my day of coaching it. I had not heard of mini tennis before, so that was how little knowledge I have of it before I was given that assignment. I researched what I could, but mini tennis isn't that popular a sport, and it's a sport that was designed for younger kids, so there isn't that much information out there on the internet compared to sports that are played professionally at a adult level. So I tried my best to use most knowledge I could find of tennis and related that to mini tennis, which I think worked quite well. But yeah, lack of knowledge played a huge part in everything that I thought went bad about my coaching session. My plans to develop this. This is all if I wanted to continue to coach mini tennis in the future, by the way. Self-education. I researched what I thought I could, but I'm sure giving more time, going more in depth, looking at some articles, I could do more research, going perhaps to see people who could tell me something. People, maybe coaches at my school know more about mini tennis than I think they do. They could give me some pointers. I'd be happy to hear any advice. Physical practice. Obviously, most knowledge a player can get is from on a first-hand basis. The more I would play mini tennis, the more I familiarise myself with it. I can create my own knowledge without people telling me. I can find a technique that works and demonstrate this in a coaching session. It's a great way to learn a sport, and it means I can do it solo on my own time. Watch tennis. Now, I mean tennis, not mini tennis, because there isn't many games to watch of mini tennis. It's not a professional sport. It's not shown on TV. Mini tennis is a sport for younger kids, but a lot of the skills from regular tennis are transferable back over to mini tennis. So by watching tennis and seeing how they play, I can use the skills and their knowledge of tennis and extrapolate that and adjust it for knowledge of mini tennis, which can help me improve the coaching of my sessions. Third area for improvement and my development plan for it: clear and concise pronunciation. In my head, I think I pronounce words clearly, but I have had a lot of feedback, and some feedback in the interviews after my session suggests that I do not speak very clearly and I do tend to mumble, and I've heard this not just during that feedback, but throughout my life, so I'm assuming it's true. This interferes with my coaching, because if they can't understand what I'm saying, or they just don't understand any word in a sentence, then they could understand or misinterpret what I'm trying to tell them and then go off and do the wrong thing, which could result in possible injury at the worst case, or best case scenario of them not understanding, they go and do it wrong and I have to waste my time, waste everyone else's time where I could be helping people who need the help, go and explain it again just because I didn't say it properly. To develop them, I can practice what I'm going to say, maybe write a script, and then practice speaking this out loud beforehand maybe to my parents, since they're always here. I can speak to them, ask them if they think I'm mumbling. Because the best way to get better at anything is to practice, and that goes to speaking as well, getting used to the words that you gotta say. I can focus harder on my words in the session. I take a very lackadaisical approach to when I'm speaking. I think I don't really think about what I say before I say them. So maybe if I choose my words more carefully and put more effort into how I pronounce them to make sure they're clear and concise, more people will understand me, and my sessions will be much more improved, and the people will be able to take more information from me.